This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we're back for our final of this ARC Magic School Bus episode. Yeah. Do we want to reflect on this arc right now, or at the end of your episode? Do we want to reflect on it?
I say if we do it, maybe we should do it now, because I'm warning you, this episode might be a little long because we got some tangents in here. Well, I can say too that we're going to cover more Magic School Bus episodes in the future. Maybe not an arc,
there's
but
so much material,
holidays, etc. Exactly. So we'll come back to it, but we might as well do it now.
Well, yeah. I guess all I have to say is that I love this arc. I love this show. And then my other only thought is I had a real missed opportunity. I really fucked up last episode for not wearing my bear slippers. Oh. My literal black bear slippers that I usually wear when we record. I didn't have them on. Yeah. I could have had them on and showed everyone while I did my black bear tangents. So anyways, I have regrets this arc is what I'm saying. And that's the only one.
That's the only one. That's good for the show then, because unlike the last arc we covered, that show shall not be named. There were a lot of regrets. None of them involved our footwear. So, I'd say that's a win. But no, I echo up until the sentiments about the bear slippers. I echo everything you said. I don't know bear slippers, so I can't relate. But man, this show is awesome. And
it's so good.
I was this morning before we started recording, I always just like to kind of real quick rewatch the episode that I'm doing. Because if I wrote the script a long time ago, I'm like, oh shit, I should probably just real quick watch that. Refresh. So I'm not exactly. And so I did this morning and I was just smiling, watching it. Yeah. God, man, this has been so much fun. I've loved, this arc has been great. I'm glad that we had the chance to do a couple extra episodes because we love this show so much. Yeah. And I think that it's something that our generation just resonates with so much, as a show. So
yeah, I love
no notes for real. Yeah. I love it. We're going to keep talking about it. I know for our holiday arc, at least I found a couple episodes. So
ooh, okay. So we'll see them again.
Talking about it. I'm sure in the future.
We will ride again.
Exactly. We will ride again.
We'll always ride again.
It's like the Frizz or her niece or whomever, her sister, whoever the fuck that was did. Which
doesn't matter.
Also, I will say a note about that. I'm going to check that show out eventually. I'll watch a couple episodes, maybe just to see. Back in. But I'm already a little resistant because, listen, we've talked about character development in this arc. For my own personal character development, I started the show or the arc not really giving two shits about Phoebe. She's my new favorite character now, especially.
That is true. You definitely were her. And I was like, the animal lover? And you were like, I guess. And I was
well, once you said she was an animal lover, I was like, oh my God, I take everything back. I'm so sorry, Phoebe. True. And then she's pretty funny too. She has some funny lines in the episode I'm going to talk about today. Okay. But the reason I tie that into Magic School Bus Rides again is apparently they got rid of her in that show. They brought in a different student. They said that she went back to her old school. The fuck? Who leaves Miss Frizzle's class? No, your old school is so boring.
Wait, also, this child should not be moved around this much. She started a new school that year and then also left that school that year.
Yeah.
Where's CPS?
The next year? Yeah.
Someone take care of this kid.
Where are her parents?
Where are
they even
parents?
Around?
She would not have willingly left this class.
Yeah.
She got to be an animal. She would not have left.
Literally, she got to save animals. She got to be an animal. And in this episode, we're also going to see her have a very strong, connection with and just a love for a particular creature that we're going to talk about in today's episode. So just made me love her even more. Exactly. Like I said a few episodes ago, there's no more Phoebe slander in this podcast. We love Phoebe. Her. Justice for Phoebe. I respect them adding a new character because I think they did it to diversify a little bit more what was already, in my opinion, a very diverse cast. Character. Exactly. I guess they didn't want odd numbers. They could have added 2 more characters. Yeah. I don't know. I was mad when I saw that they got rid of Phoebe because they probably, like us, saw her at first as just kind of the
throwaway.
Exactly. Put someone else in there. In my opinion, probably should have been Ralphie because I'm still trying to pin what his whole deal is.
Yeah.
We thought he was the athletic one, but to me, I think he's kind of just the chill, just
yeah. Maybe
I'm down for whatever, but that's
Ralphie centered ones,
True.
but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because Phoebe's got her little one-liners about back at my school.
Exactly, and she loves animals.
Those are funny.
Dorothy Ann, she's got her research. She's obviously the goody two-shoes by the book person. Keisha
Carlos
is kind of like
puns.
the brash, logical. Carlos is the comedian, the funny one. Wanda's the wild card. Like, she's super thrill-seeking.
Impulsive.
Arnold is very timid and afraid of everything. Tim is creative. So, like, all of them have their trait.
Yeah.
And
Ralphie
then
has a backwards cap.
Exactly. Right. What does that mean? Sports? He's cool? I don't know. We don't see him doing that stuff, at least in our episodes. So I think they should have cut him for a new character. Yeah. But
agreed.
Whatever. So that and, the Frizz not being the main teacher, I think is enough for me to like look at it with the side eye. But I'll maybe
they
watch
should
a
have
couple
done
episodes
a whole new cast of children then if Miss Frizz was not the teacher.
Honestly, I agree. That's what they should have done. Yeah. And maybe like there's like cameos from the old students grown up or something in the episodes.
Yeah. But like, you think they're going to be okay with their beloved teacher leaving and just being replaced by a relative?
Yeah.
No.
That's such a good point. They should, they should have just, if you're going to get a new Frizz or a new teacher, just get a whole new cast. The Frizz can still have her like appearances and stuff, but So
mistakes were made for sure.
Apparently they time traveled and listened to us and listened to our suggestions from turning students into animals. Maybe they'll do it again here. And the next Magic School Bus that we see will be pristine.
Yes. Let's hope.
On that note, like I warned you guys, gear up. Stick with me here because today's going to be a little bit long of an episode, perhaps, but it's fair because it's our last episode.
Yes, it's just
for now of the Magic School Bus. We're going to power through it, just like the bus powers through every situation it goes through.
Yes.
Today we are going to talk about season 2, episode 13. The episode is called Ups and Downs.
Okay.
And this came out in 1995. Just put a pin in that for later because hopefully I'll remember to get to a reference from another year that will make that year important. Just like I said, stick with me, guys. All right.
I got you.
The episode begins on our favorite day of the week, Saturday morning, no less.
Is there a mystery?
There is not a mystery. Actually, yes. Damn it. There is. There is a mystery.
Oh, God.
It's a Saturday morning mystery in Walkerville.
Amazing.
And Wanda is enjoying her breakfast at home in her PJs, seated right in front of the TV. Sounds so familiar, right? We can all relate, particularly in the late to mid 90s, mid to late 90s. But Wanda, unlike us, she's too mature for cartoons. So she's not actually watching her Saturday morning cartoons and animated specials like we did. Instead, she's tuning into the weekend edition of In Your Face, a hard-hitting investigative news show presented by the legendary talk show host and broadcast journalist, Jerry Paveri.
Okay.
She is well known across all of Walkerville for her tough in-your-face, quote unquote, attitude of getting answers to questions and doing just these very, very gripping interviews live on her show.
Okay.
So Jerry Paveri, she is a slightly under middle-aged woman, probably, mid-40s or so. And she's got a short kind of pixie cut, sandy blonde hair. It's very cute, actually works for her. She's got cat eye spectacles, a very deep red lipstick on, and always has a clipboard in hand, ready to check things off, ready to cross off questions that she's pestered you with, and ready to write down notes about very salacious things that you've just said or admitted to.
Okay.
And so before we get more into this episode, I just must adding to the list of phenomenal voice actors and cameo roles and
I didn't think about this as an
appearances.
option. Okay.
I mean, either, because I didn't recognize the voice. And to be fair, I'm not super familiar with this actress, but I have seen her in a few places before.
Okay.
And some listeners will have as well. But Jerry Paveri is voiced by the legendary BAFTA and Golden Globes nominated actress, Cindy Williams, who again, at first, I
didn't know that. I know the name.
Yeah. Right.
What she was
in. Was sounds familiar. So she is best known for her role as Shirley Feeney on Happy Days, aka the Fonz.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah.
Which was only for a few episodes, but that led to a spinoff called Laverne and Shirley, which was a 5-season, almost 200 episode thing. Exactly.
Wait, I guess I didn't realize that show was a spinoff from Happy Days.
I don't think I did either. Yeah,
I don't know any of that lore.
Right. And I didn't watch Happy Days that much. Like, I know the basis, like the Fonz and Henry Winkler and all of that. Yeah. And like some of the actors, but
I definitely heard of
we were way
too
young. Yes, but I have heard of that. Oh. So since she was only in like a few or like 5 or something episodes of Happy Days, I don't think it really processed for me either that that's where she started and then that she had a spinoff. Yeah. So I was like, oh, cool. I just thought that was a whole other show. But yes. Yeah. So she was in that. And she was also in American Graffiti. Okay. What was that? 1973, a 1973 movie, which I've not seen, but it is now on my short list because I learned that it was directed by the one and only George Lucas of Star Wars fame and Jurassic Park fame as well. He produced.
I think I have seen it.
And then Francis Ford Coppola wrote it, I believe. So I'm like, what a fucking team up of goats. I need to watch this movie. And there was a sequel to it later that she was also in. And she was in the 1974 spy thriller, The Conversation, which I have seen. I watched it recently and loved, starring Gene Hackman, rest in peace. The one and only Gene Hackman, and was also directed by The Conversation. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So Gene Hackman plays like a spy of sorts who's trying to like, he records a secret conversation held by someone and sells it to someone who hired him to record it. But then he realizes like, wait, what was this about? Am I about to get those people killed? Like, I don't want to be part of this. Yeah. So it's a whole thing. It's great. Also, like I said, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. So she's like worked with the goats, legit. Yeah. Damn. Anyways, so she passed away in 2023 though. So not that long ago, actually. So rest in peace to her. And just again, like another legend who just so happened to be available when the Magic School Bus made the call. Yeah. Yeah.
like, cool. Yeah, I guess I'll pop in for the day.
Yeah, I can. All right, cool. Why not? Wow. I got time. Yeah. I'm impressed. So that is the voice of Jerry Paveri, which is also just a very calm, like I can't say that she has a very distinctive voice, which is why for me, I didn't really recognize her until I just looked up the episode, but very calm voice, a little sing-songy in a way, but yeah, so good to see her here. Add it to the list of greats who have shown up.
Dude, truly.
So as any good broadcast news journalist does, Jerry starts her weekend edition show with the most important, most prescient news story of the day. You start big. It's a reverse triangle. You start big and you work your way down.
You work down. You hook them in at the start.
And in this case, the most prescient and important news story of the day in Walkerville is the recent sighting of the monster of Walker Lake.
Oh. Okay.
Jerry... So yes, this is that kind of news.
Okay. I was like, no, what do we mean by monster? I'm still giving Jerry credit, and I'm trying to be on Jerry's side, but
all right,
I'm already slipping.
All right, don't worry, time's gonna keep on slipping. Jerry, she announces to the screen, to the audience, the TVs, that the monster, it's just surfaced again, and she shows an exclusive. Only on this channel. Oh, no. Okay. The classic grainy and overly processed photo of a plesiosaur-like serpent creature, the neck and the head of which floating on top of the lake. That kind of, like gray, black and whitish, grayscale. We've all seen the photo.
We know the exact photo.
We know. And so Wanda, she watches this report with so much excitement and also a little bit of concern. Like, again, we called her our thrill seeker. She's excited that the monster is there, but she's also a little scared. Like, oh man, a monster. Shit. Ooh, a monster. Cool. Yeah. Oh, okay. And her mom, Wanda's mom, she's standing in the kitchen next to her watching this news article or this news story. And she just laughs and rolls her eyes. Telling her daughter that Jerry Paveri will do anything for a good story, including making one up.
Damn, you are teaching your children news literacy in the 4th grade. 5th grade, whatever grade they are. 4th grade.
You just said that at the perfect time, Grace, because I will say that today's episode, there's 2 lessons as per usual in these episodes as we've learned. I'll get to the science part later, but the social context that we learned from this, media literacy.
Yeah, okay? Oh my God.
When and where to trust the news.
Wow.
And how to call out lying journalists and broadcast journalists in their tracks.
Okay, I'm ready for Wanda to get calling out at some point. All right, I'm ready for her character development here. Let's go.
Oh, it's going to develop because before Wanda gets to a point where she can call out Jerry on this story that we know is probably not true. We know, unfortunately, that lake monsters like this don't exist as much as we want them to. Wanda, she's watching this thing and she believes it's real. And she really wants to prove that it's real. She wants to prove her mother wrong. Because, listen, this honest lady on the TV, on the news, just told her it's real. So how could it not be? Exactly. She's on TV and has like nice cameras and cute glasses on. And that red lipstick, it's popping. How could it not be real? How could this not be true? So after breakfast, she gets into her literal scuba diving gear. She like puts her clothes on over top of scuba diving gear, but like she suits the fuck up. Yes, she would have it and she would put it on. Like,
yes, precisely.
I don't have scuba diving gear. Wanda Lee does. Oh, yes. And so she hops onto her bike and she speeds her way down to the lake and hopes that she, Wanda Lee, will be the first person to make contact with this monster of Walker Lake. She really is, honestly. Like, sometimes she could probably ease it back a little bit, but for the most part, nah, girl. Like, yeah, you know
do your
what?
Thing.
Push those barriers.
Break
exactly. Do your thing. Exactly. Now, Grace, I know we've discussed the Loch Ness Monster on this podcast before. I did have to go back and double check when. It was during our Inspector Gadget arc. We may have talked about it another time, but I know for a fact we did it then. It does. And I actually went back and listened to a bit of that episode to make sure, because I was like, I know Grace told some really good stories in there. What all did she remind us or teach us about Nessie? And you did say some great stuff. Now, you did not go too much into like the history of the lore of Nessie, but you did talk about some of those like famous sightings that have been reported. Nonetheless, I was cracking up at that episode too by nonetheless and good old St. Columba. I don't know if you remember our good old friend St. Columba.
Like made his number two go out.
Yeah,
you go check if the monster's there.
You guys go check it out. Yeah, I'm gonna hang back on shore. Let me know what you guys find.
I'll let you know if
you do find it. I'm gonna become a saint.
I'm gonna be the saint though.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes. Classic.
Yeah,
classic
I was cracking up listening to it. Go back and listen to that episode if you're new here. It's in our Inspector Gadget playlist. Yeah, I think it was like our first one I think it was our very first Inspector Gadget episode. Yeah. So listen, we're also not going to talk about the history and all of that of Nessie today. We're not going to go too deep into the lore. Exactly. I guarantee you it'll come up again. It's a very popular a very popular topic that has already also been covered on a lot of other podcasts and podcasts. Yes. We'll do something a little different today. Don't worry. We'll probably talk about Nessie some other time. Okay. But instead, today, we're going to talk about another lake monster, because as it turns out, Nessie ain't the only sea/lake creature floating around in the waters around this world. Okay. In fact, she's got a lot of distant relatives, quote unquote, that have popped up in sightings all over the earth. Okay. And so we're not going to go down Loch Ness Tangent Avenue today. Okay. Instead, we're going to go on a tangent that hits a little bit closer to home for you and me, Grace. Okay. A place that we're both much more familiar with. Today, we're going to talk about a monster that is known primarily by residents of northeastern Ohio and southeastern Michigan. And her name is Old Bessie, the Lake Erie monster.
All right, Old Bessie.
Old Bessie, she's coming home.
Oh, all right, Old Bessie, let's go. I imagine there's some, steamships by her, just polluting along. All right, let's hear Old Bessie.
Yeah, some oil getting in there or something, or the salt from the salt mines in Lake Erie somehow not contaminating, but messing up the water levels for her.
Let's hear about Old Bessie.
Good old Bessie, also known as South Bay Bessie, or the Loch Ness Monster's Canadian cousin, because obviously Lake Erie is both United States and Canada. So or my kind of favorite, although it feels offensive, knockoff Nessie.
I mean,
seems a little sad, but I mean,
they didn't even try to give her
They call them as
name.
They seize them.
Yeah. They didn't even try to change the name and make it her own monster.
They were not creative enough.
She was called, the Gertrude monster of Erie, and it was not him.
Gertie.
Okay. Yeah, old Gertie was not him. They needed better marketing. So Bessie
rolls off the tongue better. Yeah, and there's already Nessie. Exactly, that way people know. As soon as you say Bessie, you know, oh, it's got to be somehow related to Nessie, like the Loch Ness. You don't have to explain that it's a sea monster or like a lake
You just
monster.
know.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
like your family naming twins rhyming names.
Nessie and Bessie. Exactly.
This is the same
It's like if you
situation
did it
here.
for cousins that were born the same year too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Match your cousins or rhyme your cousins'
Rhyme your cousin's
names.
name. Exactly.
Get together with your cousins and, make
Yeah,
sure
figure it out.
you're coordinating here. So, yes, also known, like I said, as South Bay Bessie, she lurks in the waters surrounding the Lake Erie Islands and around what is called the South Bay of Lake Erie.
Okay.
And so, according to an article by Michael Carver for an outpost called Colonial Brewing, which I'm not sure if that's like a beer related magazine because there are some breweries in northeastern Ohio as well. And I think one of them actually has a brew named after the Lake Erie monster, which I've had before. It's actually pretty good. It's an IPA. Cool. Anyway, so I think that they like kind of went into the history of this and everything. And Michael Carver describes Bessie as snake-like, 30 to 40 feet long, at least 1 foot in diameter, and a grayish color. But to be fair, no two descriptions of Bessie are identical. Some other sources have ID'd her or him, maybe, but we're going to say her, as having terrifyingly a dog-like head and large fins.
Hold on.
You heard that right.
Did the animators of Magic School Bus make this monster?
They might as well have, because they clearly don't understand how to merge different beings into like one cohesive
one look.
Others, unfortunately, even scarier, have said that it has human-like arms, and others also say that the color is not gray, but more like copper or even silver. Yeah, so could you imagine a dog-like head, fins, and a human-like arm?
No,
I can't. I literally can't, actually.
This is like a children's drawing of a monster. This is like Trogdor.
That's the most I can imagine is like a pencil, little kindergartner's drawing of just like an abomination.
Yeah. Wow, I don't want to see Bessie, old Bessie.
In this same article, Carver talks about and kind of like recounts the first sighting that allegedly occurred in 1793. So in this sighting, the captain of the ship Felicity and the entire crew of the ship, they were steering their sailboat through the shallows of Lake Erie's islands, duck hunting with a musket. And the captain reported that he was startled by an enormous serpent which had started thrashing around near his boat. And he said that the beast hissed and lashed water with its tremendous tail before disappearing back into the foam.
Okay.
So this account and a few other similar accounts saying that it was just some sort of serpent-like creature in the water, they would happen for years later, or continue on for years later. And later, they would even be published in the Cleveland Gazette and the Commercial Register in 1818. So they started publishing some of these tales, so they say. But in 2019, an article by Kevin Carpenter for Cleveland Magazine, he debunked this Gazette article from 1818.
Okay.
And he wrote that some historians at Case Western Reserve University, which is a university in the Cleveland area, they believe that the 1818 newspaper account was actually an allegorical broadside, which apparently I looked it up, what a broadside is. It's like kind of an old word when print was more of, I guess it's still an industry, but I don't know. I feel like it was more of a niche where it was either like a weekly cartoon or like a tabloid piece.
Story, right?
Yeah. Or even like an ongoing story, but like, I don't think it was taken as seriously for some reason. Like everything I could find about it, it had like either it's cartoon or it's tabloid or it's like just a poster that's like depicting something, like but not necessarily like a factual account. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
And apparently what they interpret this broadside to be was related to the second bank of the United States and not a literal monster attack.
Oh, okay.
So apparently the Cleveland Gazette was known as pretty maybe a far left-ish publication in its heyday, or like back in the OG days in the early 1800s. And so the historians believe that the Gazette was more so commenting on an economic policy just passed by the second bank.
This was
wherein
just
the
a
bank
political cartoon.
it was literally like a satire, like an
Oh my
allegory. Yeah,
God.
a political
Okay.
cartoon where the policy was that the bank had just reversed its credit policy and demanded immediate repayment of balances due from people
Oh.
nationwide. Yeah, which hilariously, presciently, is kind of like what we're going through in the US right now with this whole
Yeah.
tariff debacle about possibly
Yes.
companies having to be paid back tariffs that are
Suddenly.
possibly illegal. Yeah, so
Yeah.
something kind of similar to that. And so historians thought that that's what the anti-bank Gazette
That's
was doing.
so
They were actually
interesting.
comparing the second bank to a serpent attack, perhaps a policy that would even more so particularly hurt people in the shipping and trading industry,
Wow.
signifying the ship that was being
Cool.
attacked by a serpent. So I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. Like, I love to believe in monsters and conspiracies.
Yes.
So I was like, I doubt it, but that actually does kind of make
And you're like,
sense.
that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Cool.
Yes, but while that may be an astute observation and may actually be like the correct interpretation of that
Yeah.
1818 article, it doesn't change the fact that a lot of sightings have still been reported since that article was published. I mean, that was 200 years ago, and
Right.
people are still basically citing or, seeing sights of this monster.
Yeah.
So, for example, in July of 1892, the entire crew of a ship bound from Buffalo, New York to Toledo, Ohio, saw a large area of water about half a mile ahead of them, churning up and foaming. As they approached it, they claimed to have seen a huge sea serpent that appeared to be wrestling around in the waters as if it was fighting with some unseen foe.
Okay.
They observed as the creature relaxed itself and eventually stretched out to its full length, which they estimated to be about 50 feet long and 4 feet in circumference.
Damn.
So very big, very long.
Yeah.
Even way bigger than an anaconda. I don't think anacondas get 4 feet wide, but I'm not sure. 4 feet, like,
Yeah.
so,
And
I
50
don't know.
feet
But
long.
50 feet long is very long for something swimming around in the water around you,
Yeah.
especially.
In the lake, no less. Okay.
Yes. And they said that its head was sticking up above the water an additional 4 feet. So,
Okay. Damn. So this
was
is,
it the dog shape head? I don't know.
where was the human arm? Who's to say?
Where was the fin? I don't know. We don't know.
Okay.
But they also described the creature as brownish. Or sorry, no, they said its eyes
Okay.
were brownish. I'm sorry. And that
Wow,
it
they got a
was
good
viciously
look.
sparkling. Yeah, I know. That sounds
Viciously
very close.
sparkling.
Especially they're saying
They're like, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's drawing us in closer.
Oh
That's its
God.
danger and its power.
Siren.
Yes.
Okay.
And they did see large fins that were also noted in their accounting of what they saw. And
Okay.
so this story, since it was like, a pretty reputable captain, like I guess captains back then had a pretty, a certain prestige about them that allowed them to be more trustworthy. Like, why would he lie about this? So a lot of local newspapers started carrying the story and reporting out on that sighting. And then finally, I mean, there's many more sightings we could talk about, but this is just the last one I'll talk about, was in the 1980s, so much more recently.
Okay.
When 2 women allegedly spotted the Lake Erie monster and described it as reptilian and snake-like with big flippers, much like those of a plesiosaur.
Okay.
Like its old cousin,
Like its
Nessie.
cousin. Okay.
Exactly. So according to one of these women, the creature was so large it could have easily capsized a boat. So very, very big, matching the description given back in the early to mid 1800s.
Okay.
Now, in the article titled Meet Bessie, the Loch Ness Monster of Lake Erie, which was written in 2020 by Lindy Osborne in a magazine called Great Lakes Guide, she introduces another element to this folklore that I thought was really interesting and worth highlighting. It's something I've not really thought about with like these ancient sea monsters.
Okay.
But she brings up Onyara. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct.
I've never heard of that.
Onyara
Okay.
is the ancient water spirit of the Great Lakes.
What?
Now, we know, yes, Ohio was very, very populated with indigenous peoples and Native Americans and First Nations tribes way, way long ago, and even less long ago than we would like to admit in many cases. Yes. So she posited that perhaps some of the indigenous folklore and history kind of trickled into the new, more modern mainstream history. So Well, modern audiences and drunk tourists create all of these superstitious tales of the Lake Erie monster. The legend of a serpentine creature living in Lake Erie actually originated in First Nations culture. Okay. Indigenous groups in the Lake Erie region, particularly parts of the Iroquois tribe, they would speak of onyare, which is also a Mohawk word for snake. Oh. And so they described onyare as a horned dragon-like snake that breathes both poison and fire, which seems unfair. How do you breathe poison and fire?
Pick one, please.
Pick one, yes. But onyare is said to was said at least by First Nations, to capsize canoes and devour humans, though the creature would sometimes spare travelers if they made proper offerings to it.
Oh.
Yikes.
Okay.
So, whether Bessie and onyare are the same creature has yet to be determined or settled, but the one thing is for sure, the ancient tales of lake monsters and sea creatures seem to be as old as mankind itself. And basically, wherever a human travels, a man will find or create an evil creature that must be vanquished or feared in its path.
Yes.
And also led me to think that, like, hey, next time I or you or anyone listening, next time we find ourselves boating through the South Bay of Lake Erie while vacationing in Michigan, probably, or less likely in Cleveland, keep your eyes peeled. Take a closer look at the waters for the elusive Bessie as she either hunts for her next meal or just kind of floats around in the water enjoying the weather. I had no idea that Ohio had its own lake monster lore, and found from the Wikipedia page that there are lake monsters, like I said, all over the world and all over the country. Yeah.
That's so fascinating. I'd be really interested to hear like what those like First Nations and tribes like say today about the like relationship of if they're just automatically like, that was like
that's
the
onyare.
Colonizers' version of like our like lake spirit. Like
we made that up. That's ours. Yeah, we like told them that story.
This is right, exactly. Like, we told them if you're going to go on this water, please be aware and like make an offering to like this lake spirit. And they said, hold my mead,
hold my beer.
I'm gonna make it. I'm Scottish. I'm gonna make it something else now. I'm gonna colonize your spirit into a monster. Thank you.
It was like someone who was like traveling, shipping some shit from Scotland through like the St. Lawrence Strait or whatever,
and they, like,
to
heard
Lake
from
Erie.
The local tribe, like
exactly, and then they brought it back.
Spirit, or you're gonna get fucked. And they were like, "This sounds like someone I know." And they were, that's not what we said.
That's not at all
like,
what our story said.
That's still not what we're saying. And we're like, no, this is what we're hearing, though.
No. We gotcha. A big wink.
They're like, you certainly don't.
That is such a good point, too, though. Yeah, because I guess I really only tied it to like, onyare was used as like the Bessie lore, or maybe for some other American tales. But like, I mean, it's very possible that, like there was trade going on back then.
Yeah.
Well, I guess... And maybe if we had done more of a deep dive on Nessie, the history of Nessie, we would know when the
Nessie's
first sighting of Nessie was. Yeah.
Nope. We just say once there was a photo and beyond.
Exactly. And that's all we stick with. One day, maybe we'll talk about Nessie's history so that we can tie all of this together. But yeah, it would be interesting to know if like First Nations had any sort of influence there. So anyways, back to the magic school bus and the lake monster. She's about to find a few things. We'll find out here with her. Okay. So Wanda does get to Walker Lake on her bike. She's pedaling to the metal, and she's very eager and excited to be the first person to make contact with this lake monster. Okay. But just as she rolls up on her bike, she notices that the rest of her classmates are already there. They're hanging out. Everybody was watching in your face. Apparently, these kids don't watch cartoons in the morning. They all watch the news.
Investigate. Not surprised, honestly.
This is how Miss Friz has
raised these
what's
children.
The word I'm looking for? I was going to say raise them, but I guess we'll say that. It's better than the other word I want to say. Influence. That's the word. Okay, so. Yes, her other classmates are already there. They're hanging out on some of the docks in the lake, trying to lure this monster out of the depths and into the light. Okay. Or at least just get some sort of evidence that the monster exists. So the other students, like I said, they're already there, hard at work, and they're actually surprised that Wanda was the last one to arrive because they know she's like the wild card, the thrill seeker. and they expected her to be the first one there. Like, boom, I'm going to catch this thing. I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, while they were waiting for her to arrive, they explained that like Phoebe has been trying to feed the monster, which I was like, God, I love you, Phoebe. I'm so sorry that I ever was mean to you.
Monster.
Yeah, she is. She's like, I don't want to be the first one to feed it. So like Wanda wants to be the first one to make contact. Phoebe wants to be the first one to feed it. And Tim, he's trying to record it. He wants to be the first one to film it. So Phoebe's trying to drop a banana in the water so that it'll go down to the bottom of the lake and feed this monster because she thinks it must be hungry down there. And she's like, it's too afraid to come up here, so I'll give it food down there.
Phoebe,
Phoebe, you're the best. Screw you, the magic school bus rides again. Screw you for getting rid of such a wholesome character.
Truly.
And yes, Tim, he's trying to drop the camera into the water. It's like protected by a thick plastic box. Don't worry, Kim's smart. Yeah, it's in like one of those high tech, boxes. Yeah. And he just like throws it into the water though. Like I don't think it's attached to a string or anything. He's like, we'll see. I do not question his methods.
No, he's an artiste.
Exactly. But the snack, the banana, and the camera, they don't sink. Both objects, they just float on top of the water in front of the students, much to their dismay, particularly to Phoebe's dismay, because she's really worried that this monster is not going to be able to eat now. Yeah. And Tim is more just kind of laughing like, look at that. My camera won't sink. Interesting. And so Keisha, she tells the students that they need to find a way to turn these floaters into sinkers. Which they say many times throughout the episode, and my immature brain just laughs every time because I just always think of poop. Yes. Like it's like, a floater here.
That's why they know what to say.
Exactly. And it's obvious that they know, what they're referring to here. They make a few good puns throughout the episode every time they say it. So Wanda, who is now fully donning her scuba suit, she tells the kids, like, all right, move out of the way. Fuck your camera. Fuck your banana. I don't give a shit. And she's ready to dive in and go down, to the bottom of the lake to meet this monster. Skeptical, though, Phoebe is like, I don't know, Wanda. Like, what would Miss Frizzle say? And Wanda, she makes a good point. She's like, it's Saturday. There's no school. And no Miss Frizzle. So I don't care. Like,
she wouldn't say shit.
What would she say? Exactly. She wouldn't say a damn thing because it's Saturday and we don't have to see her today. But no, the Frizz is always nearby and she's always listening because at that exact moment, we see a dark shadow begin to approach the surface of the lake and we hear like that Jaws-like music of the dun, 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 and the shadow, it comes to the top of the lake and then it starts floating closer and closer to the docks where the students are. And eventually, out from the water bursts Miss Frizzle.
Is she scuba diving?
In full scuba diving gear.
Hell yeah. She was like, you guys are late.
Yeah. She's like, I've been here for 2 hours. Catch up. Kids, you're going to have to write a paper on this. You're ready?
Yeah. Y'all better be ready.
No. Yes. She is very excited to see all of her students on the dock. And the kids ask her, like, were you just like diving in Walker Lake? Like, were you looking for the monster too? And she's like, oh, well, yeah, we'll figure something out here, blah, blah, blah. She's like, kind of plays it off.
A little vague.
And listen, once we get to the end of the episode, I realize that I'm not going to bury the lead here. Frizz already has this investigation taken care of. She got there early, put on her scuba suit, went to investigate herself to, one, make sure it was safe enough for her students. Because if there is a real monster, you don't want to take your students by that.
Yep.
But Frizz knows. Monsters don't exist. She's the only monster on this planet. She
eliminated all the other ones.
Exactly.
Also,
so she's like,
Frizz,
let me get to the bottom of this. And she knows Jerry Paveri, I believe. Go ahead and say what you were going to say.
I was going to say,
finish my sentence.
Frizz has absolutely an inside scoop into every newsroom. And some camera guy was like, Jerry's coming out with another Bessie story, or another monster story today.
Yep.
8 a.m. Be there. So Frizz is there at 6 a.m. to break this story before
you'll find $20K in your account tomorrow morning. Another $20K the next day if you're able to nip this in the bud.
Exactly.
Put an end to this. Yeah.
Yep.
Doing her usual mercenary shit. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, like, a fourth grade teacher can't afford just like a scuba suit. And like, this is a high tech one too.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. So there's something going on here. Frizz is
making it on the
doing her
side.
real investigation. And now that she knows it's safe for the kids to also
Now
do an
they can
investigation to come to their own, their own conclusion.
I completely agree with this.
Exactly. So Wanda tells the Frizz that the story about the lake monster must be true because Jerry Paveri showed a picture of the monster on TV.
Wanda, you idiot.
Further proving that Grace is the adult version of Dorothy Ann.
Oh, no.
Dorothy Ann chimes in and reminds Wanda that, and the rest of the class, that pictures can be fake.
Yeah.
And the only way that you can prove if something is real is by finding hard evidence, of which they have none. Yeah. So she says in a much friendlier way what you just said, you dumbass.
According to my research, y'all are stupid.
You're stupid. And unfortunately, this little lesson from Dorothy Ann is way too relevant today with AI and shit. It's like literally anytime I get on Facebook or Instagram, I'm just looking at a trove of fake pictures that way too many people think are real. And it's very concerning. So guys, listen to Grace and Dorothy Ann. Don't be a dumbass.
Yeah, stop being stupid.
Yeah. So Dorothy Ann then tells them, we've got to find evidence. Or actually, I got to say the pun or the joke that happens in this. So Dorothy Ann is like, right now, we don't have any evidence. And so the Frizz says, in class, what do we do when there is no evidence? And Arnold chimes in like, go home.
Give up. It's Saturday. What am I doing?
Give up.
Here?
It's Saturday. Yeah. We're not supposed to be in school. Home. So watching cartoons, please. And Wanda's like, no, you go and look for it.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
Is true. You get to the bottom of it when you don't have evidence. You look for it and you answer the question yourself. So right at that moment, Jerry Paveri herself appears over the lake in a freaking helicopter that she is flying and piloting, by the way, hovering nice and low, warning all of the civilians, like the Frizz and the kids, to go home, stay away from the lake, and stay safe because it's obviously very dangerous with this recent monster sighting and all these tales of a monster floating around underneath there, down there, whatever. And so she encourages everyone with an earshot to tune in to her next edition of In Your Face for any new updates on the monster sightings rather than coming down here to see it for yourself.
This is Frizz's enemy for sure. This is a
absolutely
of Frizz.
She is literally anti-facts. Like she hates the truth. And the Frizz is like the beacon of finding the truth. Yeah.
Exactly. And like using facts and evidence and research for it. Yeah. Frizz doesn't hate many people, but Jerry, she fucking hates for sure.
It's almost kind of symbolic of the modern day we live in. Academics and academia skeptical of people on our TVs telling us certain things or on our computer screens telling us certain things. Interesting.
Magic School Bus shaping us.
For many years to come.
Yeah.
So these safety warnings from Jerry, they only raise more curiosity and excitement from the students. So it's kind of like the reverse effect, like the Streisand effect. I think it's like the more you talk about, or the more you say, don't think about something, the more people are going to start talking and thinking about it.
Yeah.
So Wanda, she remembers like Jerry doesn't own this lake. She can't stop us from doing what we want to do here. She can warn us all she wants, but it's not her lake. So she's like, hey, we're free to investigate and search this lake if we want to. And they do. The Frizz concur. She's like, you are absolutely right, Wanda. And she whistles and calls for the magic school bus. And we see it rolling down the path to the park and through, the park to get down to the lake with Liz, of course, at the wheel, steering it, got her captain hat on and everything. And Liz presses a button to change the bus into kind of like a submarine sort of thing that's on pontoons, though. And what I will call they might call it this too, but the bus marine, because bus is just sub backwards. It plops itself that like, hey, I didn't write it. I wish I could have, but hey, they're a step ahead of me. But yes, the bus marine plops itself right on into the water, and the students and the Frizz all load up on it. Now, unfortunately, according to the Frizz, someone, aka Liz, did not take proper care of the bus marine controls in between this little foray and the last time they took the bus marine out for a little dive.
Okay.
So the Frizz tells the students that they can't use like the automatic controls to dive down underwater, and they're going to have to use some knowledge of physics and whatnot to figure out how to sink the bus marine down so that they can explore the bottom of the lake to find this monster.
We're learning already.
Exactly. You can't get too far in this show without a science lesson coming in. Yeah, I think Miss Frizz was like, we're supposed to talk about buoyancy and floating and sinking on Monday. Jerry Paveri's got the bullshit story out. Let's just do it today. It's Saturday. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Let's just do it now. So the first task is, therefore, like I said, figuring out how to get this bus marine to sink to the bottom of the lake. Mm-hmm. And they begin to use Phoebe's little snack and everything experiment as like proxies for what they have to do here. So Phoebe, she's got her banana in one hand that she wanted to give to this monster. And somehow in her other hand, she's found a rock and she's holding it.
Okay.
She's like, all right, they're both the same size. And she like tosses them into the water and she just looks at them and sees, the rock sank, but the banana is still floating. Mm-hmm. So she grabs the banana back out of the water, gets another rock from somewhere, straps that onto the banana and throws it back into the water and now sees the banana sinking.
Wow.
And she's like, so we added extra weight to the banana and now it's sinking to the bottom of the lake. So the students are like, we just need to add extra weight to the bus marine and then we will also sink down to the bottom of the lake. And luckily for them, there are like multiple piles of just these empty barrels just kind of sitting along the dock and the shore of this lake that I don't know what they're for. Walkerville is obviously in the middle of some sort of industrial project and forgot to clean up or something. I don't know.
Miss Frizz put them there for this lesson.
She did. Honestly, they're way too perfectly placed for this. That like this was not an accident. This is not some accident.
What could we possibly use? Was right there.
Versus like, if only we had barrels and sand and
wouldn't that be
I don't know,
good,
kids.
I don't know. Look around.
Yeah.
Maybe
kids, what's that over there? Did you just see that? And kids were like, a monster? Where? Oh, hey, Miss Frizz, there's barrel there. Look at that.
That's crazy. What?
Hey, let's go fill them. Yeah. So yes, they run over to the barrels and they start filling them up with sand. They're like shoveling all these piles of sand. The kids, not the Frizz, by the way. The Frizz is just chilling on the bus with Liz, waiting for the kids to finish this manual labor, this hard labor. Yeah. Watching them sweat. And they roll these barrels over to the bus marine, load them on and like strap them to the hull. And they add the extra weight that they need for them to start sinking. So down they go, diving and sinking deeper and deeper to the bottom of this lake. And the kids are just like amazed and in awe of all of the sights that they're seeing. Cause this lake is like super beautiful. Again, Walkerville, biodiversity on point. Like put this place in a documentary series, explore and figure out why this place has everything that it has. Yeah, they see these beautiful, massive fish swimming past them, all of this cool plant life underwater. But what they don't see, hiding behind rocks in the shadows of this lake, is indeed a monster. Jerry Paveri. She's the monster. I was going to say a journalist, but I don't believe that all journalists are monsters.
No, this was good. This was good. And honestly, I did not see that coming. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
That's what my surprise was for.
Could you imagine?
What? She's down here. Hold on, what now?
But imagine if she was down there and they did that abomination again of like hybrid crossing her with the plesiosaur. It's like she is legit a monster.
Right, she is actually the monster.
Not symbolically a monster, yes. No, she is symbolically a monster at the bottom of this lake. And she's in her own like personally owned high-tech submarine.
Jerry's got some money.
You know, salacious stories like this, Grace. Yeah, we see how. Yeah, exactly. Get those clicks. We see how people's YouTube numbers are in some cases. Like the more ridiculous thing you're reporting on, the more clicks and likes you're going to get. She got money. And she's keeping an eye on anyone who tries to find evidence of this lake monster before she does.
Sorry, do the kids see her or do we just see
They
her?
don't. She's hiding. We just see her.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
she's like in the shadows, and once the bus kind of like float or, is like going through the water, yeah, we see her own little sub kind of like peek out from behind some rocks, and then she like stealthily follows them through the water. Cool. But what Jerry says too, while she's following them, she doesn't just say that she doesn't want these kids to find the monster. She says she doesn't want the kids to find her monster. She says, if those kids find my monster, I'm sunk. Like my story is sunk.
Oh, okay. This is reminding me of some of the Nessie fakery stories that we discussed in my Nessie episode. Oh, no.
You just said it at the perfect time because I was going to bring it up. I didn't type it here, but I was like, okay, need to remember to make this connection. Because as I was watching this episode, it was at this point that I was like, wait, didn't Grace tell a story just like this where a group of people, and I did, that's why I went back to listen to that episode that we did of Inspector Gadget, where Grace told a story from the year 2004. Mind you, this episode came out in 1995.
Who inspired who? Who inspired who?
Where a group of people created like an animatronic Loch Ness monster, sunk and, put it into Loch Ness in Scotland. And at some point it like sank and actually ruined it because it's like a machine and not like a stuffed doll, like what we end up seeing in this episode, or like a balloon that we see in this episode that's weighted down underwater. No. So I was like, oh my God, this is literally exactly what happens in this episode of the Magic School Bus. And I forgot what year the real world story happened. So I was like, did they just like, is this episode making fun of that? But then I realized it was like 10 years later.
They were like,
legitimately think those people watch this episode. Yeah. And they were like, hey, we can get away with this. Like if we are a little bit smarter than Jerry,
we just won't do a balloon.
We can get away with it.
Balloon. We'll do something else.
And animatronic. Yeah. So I was like, that's hilarious. And also I think you mentioned Inspector Gadget in your last episode, which was very funny that like you brought it up. I forget what you tied it to, but you mentioned our Inspector Gadget arc last week. And I was like, that's so funny because I'm going to mention it today. Yeah. I was going to call it out then, but I was like, we'll just wait. And I don't remember what you said now. But anyways.
It's all tied together, always.
It always comes together. Our first show of the yew and our last full show of the year. Look at that. What a great year it's been. For Saturday Morning Mysteries, at least. So, some other places, maybe not so much. So, yes, Jerry is stealthily now tailing the bus marine underwater. And at one point, she's able to use this high-powered submarine that she has. It's got like the extendable claw things on it that you can like retract and stuff. Yeah. And she removes some of the weighted barrels from the hull. Again, she does it very sneakily and in a way that no one on the bus is able to see. Wow. And so the loss of weight causes the bus marine to start rising back up to the surface, much to the confusion and anger of the students. So they're now all the way back up on the surface of the water. Wanda is the most pissed of all of them because she's trying to see this monster. Phoebe is also upset because she's afraid that the monster is starving. Love you, Phoebe. And everyone's mad for a different reason. Tim's not getting footage. Carlos's jokes aren't landing. It's just bad.
It's all underwater bad. Jokes and they're on the surface. What's he supposed to do?
They're on sites. He can't hit the crowd. It's not working.
Yeah.
So he can't hit Rob. So Tim, while the rest of the students are brainstorming, Tim is like opening up the plastic box that his camera's in, and he just loads a bunch of rocks into there to weigh it down some. He ties a long rope onto it, and he slowly lowers it back down into the water so that he can somehow get some video, at least while they're coming up with a new idea. And Phoebe, meanwhile, she now has pulled a peanut butter sandwich out of her lunchbox, hoping that the lake monster will enjoy it as a snack and hoping that maybe it'll bring it up to the surface and they won't have to dive back down. So she kind of like pulls apart the sandwich. I guess she wants to like feed it in rounds or something. And she takes one half of it and just like plops it like full piece of bread with peanut butter on it, just flops it onto the water. It's gonna get all soggy.
You're nasty.
Fucking hate soggy bread so much too. Such a waste of good peanut butter.
I know, girl, you're gonna be hungry. I know you're trying to do
Yeah.
good, but
But
think it through. Would you eat that? No.
ew.
Would she eat that?
No.
No. Probably
Yeah,
not,
like
honey.
with a lake monster like that, I don't think
No,
so.
probably not.
But thankfully, since it's a whole just piece of bread, it's just floating on the surface still, right in front of her, making her realize like, it's not heavy enough because so
Yeah.
far all that they know about sinking is that something has to be
Weight.
really heavy to sink. Exactly. It's got to have more weight. So she now thinks that her food is a waste because it's unable to sink unless you like start tying rocks to it and stuff.
Yeah.
So she takes the other half of the sandwich, crumbles it up into a ball, and tosses it in the water like it's a piece of trash. But I don't need you anymore.
Ever.
But much to her surprise and the other students' surprise, this crumbled up ball, this half of the sandwich, it does slowly begin to float down or sink down, excuse me, under the surface into the bottom of the lake. So now the class realizes that even when two objects are the same weight, one of them can still sink if the surface area of those objects is decreased or made smaller. So in this case, the slice of bread, it's bigger, so it floats. But the small piece of bread, same weight, it's smaller and it sank. So Wanda then, taking this logic of crumbling up a piece of bread, asks the Frizz if they can crumple up the bus marine into a smaller object.
I was worried that she's going to try and crumple someone, but it turns out she's going to crumple everyone.
All of them.
Yeah.
We're crumbling together.
Yeah.
Huddle in.
Come on, kids.
We're crumpling.
Yeah. Time to crumple.
And the Frizz loves this idea. She's like, "Oh, yes, Wanda, let's crumple. Let's
perfect.
Mash
let's
each other
crumple,
in.
kids.
Yes.
Let's get ready to crumple."
And yes, they press a button on the sub bus marine, and immediately the bus starts just kind of like crumbling in on itself the same way that Phoebe was crumbling up that piece of bread into a ball. And it's still bus shaped. It's not like they crumble into like what looks like a crumbled piece of paper, but like it is just becoming more like compressed and yeah. So Keisha at this time, she provides a little more context to explain how all of this is working. Because I think it's like Carlos who's saying like, okay, like I kind of get it. Like I saw what happened to Phoebe's piece of bread, but like, can someone explain it to me like I'm 5? Why is this? Explain it to me like I'm a 4th grader.
Like I'm 10.
Why is this working? Yeah. How is this working? And so Keisha says that even though they weigh the same amount as they did uncrumbled, crumpling up the bus allows them to sink because the more they crumble in, the less water they shove out of the way on their descent down, meaning that there's less water pushing against them, meaning that water isn't pushing them up. Basically, the less surface area there is, the less water that can impact it or stop it from falling down. So it can sink. That's my layman's way of explaining it, courtesy of the Magic School Bus. Yeah, exactly. Of course, as they again make their descent to the bottom of the lake, though, Jerry Paveri sees them from the shadows where she's still hiding. And at this point, she's starting to curse these darn kids. She's like, dang, these kids are intense. They're dogged. They really want to get to the bottom of this. They must be working with. No. Valerie, is she back? Has she returned? Oh, shit. Oh, God. I really have to take them out now. This is bad. I thought that I got rid of her last time. These have all the trappings of a Valerie Frizzle plot. All the trappings.
She's like turning all like, the lights off on the sub. So like she's like even more in the shadows.
Ultimate stealth mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turning on like a reinforced like security guard, like metal covers.
Moving into a cave.
Yeah.
Hiding as much as she can. I got to reroute this plan.
Yeah, we got to start over. These kids have to be trained by the one and only. So, yes, the bus, though, it is sinking again. And once they land down at the bottom of the lake, Wanda, she's at 100%. She is ready to investigate. Like before the class can even come up with a plan to find the monster, Wanda's unlatching the hole, jumping right in, diving out. And all the students are just like, wait, Wanda. And she's gone.
Don't have any
we see her just swimming off. We don't have scuba suits. You're the only one that has one. not only do we not have them on, like, where did
Nothing's
you
even
even
half
get
but
that?
you. Bring this from
Yeah.
home again?
Again. But as she swims away, the bus marine again starts to float up to the top of the lake.
Oh no, so she's
And the
down there by herself
kids,
now?
yep, so she's by herself. And so they're trying to stop her, like, Wanda, wait, wait, wait. But then they start to float up and they
Okay.
realize, it's like, anyway, so they realize that Wanda's extra weight was helping to keep them stuck.
Damn.
And without her,
Don't
they're
say that to her
really
face.
I have a note. My comment on this is literally just which ... Damn.
Damn.
Like shit. That's no comment.
Y'all. Come on now.
I think they do later tell her that to her face though. They're like, when Wanda left, like she gets back on the bus marine later and they're like, no, Wanda, you can't leave me. And last time you got off, like your weight let us float back
Got all
up.
the people to say it to, like she'll kick your ass.
Yeah, I know. Of all people, like that's the last one you want to offend. Like Wanda will beat you up. Oh man, yeah. So I was freaking geeking at that line. They're like, Wanda's gone. Now we need her extra weight. Like, oh, jeez, she was like 3 of those barrels worth of weight.
She's a whole bag of sand, at least 4 of them.
Oh my god. So yes, as they are slowly floating back up to the top of the lake, all they see is Wanda. Like they get a better look at her now. They see her swimming off still, but they also see her get caught in like a patch of like seaweed or something like that, like under this lake. And they assume, because they can also somehow hear her screaming, they assume that she's being attacked by the monster. Yes.
Oh, no.
And so not only are they panicking that they're floating back up, but they're also panicking that Wanda's down there alone and being attacked.
Dying.
So they're like very, very quickly trying to think of a way to weigh themselves back down so that they can go down there and save her. And before they can agree on any single thing, because they're like, okay, well, we know we need weight. What do we need? Like, what can we use? We're panicking. We're out of time. Apparently there is an extra scuba suit in there, and Carlos hops into it. This dude, he heard Keisha give that lesson on crumbling and everything. And now he's like, oh, I know everything about buoyancy and sinking and whatnot. I got this. So he changes into that scuba suit, opens the hull, dives right into the lake. And what he does instead, though, is he opens some of the plugs in the pontoons lining the submarine. And what that does is it allows more water to flow into the pontoons.
Oh, yeah. Okay, to weigh them down.
Exactly. It weighs them down. And so the bus marine is able to quickly descend back. Yeah. And they're like, way to go, Carlos. It's like you finally did something. Yeah.
Great.
He's not just
like,
a funny guy. You're so much more than that, Carlos. So, yes, they're back down at the bottom of the lake now, and they can save Wanda from this monster. And Wanda, she is still down there, legit fighting for her life, man. She is trying to kick this seaweed off. She's pulling.
Cut it.
She's awesome. Yeah, she whips out like a Crocodile Dundee style knife, chops that shit up. Yeah, a fucking harpoon gun, shooting, thinking that she's going up against like fucking Cthulhu or no, what's the Kraken or something like that underwater, man. But no, she eventually does realize that it's just like seaweed. And so she's able to just kind of like kick and punch her way out of it. But like I said, she's fighting here still because she doesn't want to drown, even though she sees it's not a monster. And she punches and kicks so hard that she finds herself actually punching an object near her. She like feels it and she looks and she sees that what she has just punched is a monstrous head that is attached to an elongated neck. That has poked its head through that patch of seaweed she's trying to swim out and has floated towards her.
This is your worst fear of being in the water.
Panics.
This is why you hate the ocean.
Like,
this is your nightmare.
Cannot tell you. The only thing scarier is that I imagine that in a real life scenario, the water would be even darker than what we're seeing Wanda in now. So you would see even less detail of this giant monster head in front of you.
Green seas, when you're in like seaweed beds and stuff, you can't see shit.
Listen, like Grace, you just said it perfectly. I it was a bit traumatic watching this episode for me.
It's like, even though they're
when
in a
that
lake,
happened,
just like I'm just picturing you in this scenario, because I was like, what would you do? And I was like, don't ask her that. She would
I don't.
die.
I would simply die, perish. I would give up.
Yeah, you would go home to your watery grave.
Yes.
The ultimate home.
That would be my new home. Yeah. So yeah, I cannot even fathom such a sight. I feel bad for Wanda in this moment. She is panicking because the seaweed is clouding her vision and she's not able to see that it's obviously a fake monster, but still this thing is like coming right up into her face. And so she doesn't have it. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the harpoon gun like we joked about. She doesn't have a Crocodile Dundee knife. She doesn't have any of that stuff. All she got her little, what do you call it?
Left and right.
Lucy and left and right. Her Lucy and I don't know, her Ralphie, something like that. She only got
right? Nessie and Bessie here.
Nessie and Bessie, yes. Incredible. So she keeps flailing Nessie and Bessie all throughout the water until eventually she punches. Well, she frees herself from the seaweed in doing this, and then she again punches the monster in the face. And damn it, Wanda is so strong that she punches the monster's nose clear off of its face and watches that nose just kind of sink down to the surface. Or actually, no, sorry, it floats up to the top of the lake. Actually,
she thought she was dying, and then she murdered.
Mm-hmm. She murdered. But then when she sees the nose floating to the top of the lake, she realizes, oh, I didn't murder, thank God. But I've been lied to. Are you kidding? Which is even worse, I think, to Wanda.
She was mad before?
She'll fight a homicide charge, okay? But for a newscaster to lie to her? Oh, no. All bets are off, Wanda.
Jerry is staying in her own watery grave.
Yeah, Jerry's done.
Nothing to do with it.
Do not become an enemy of Wanda Lee. That's the lesson of this episode.
Yes, that's the real lesson.
It is. So, yes, she sees now that the monster is fake. And she realizes that Jerry Paveri has made the whole freaking story up. Because Jerry pulls up right in her submarine as she sees Wanda fighting with this monster, which would also be very terrifying if you're like free scuba diving underwater in a massive submarine pool. Like, no, I don't even want to think about it. That's scarier than thinking of a monster. Oh man, random tangent, but I think it was in one of the recent Mission Impossible movies. I went and saw it in theaters, and there is a whole scene where you see just like a submarine underwater, like averting a crash with another submarine, and it made me realize not only how big they are, but just how scary that would be. Because actually, of course, Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise is like swimming in the water trying to avoid.
Naturally.
It's just so big. And I was just like, oh my God, no, like, get it down. Oh, no. I'm like in a movie theater, so I can't leave. And it's like so big in front of me. And I was like, this is the scariest thing I've seen around you.
So you're also in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels like you're there because it's like IMAX, all this shit, and again, just new fear unlocked. Just anything giant underwater, I don't like. It doesn't have to be a whale. It doesn't have to be a monster. It can just be a submarine. I don't care. It's a whole other planet that I don't want to mess with down there.
She hates it.
Yes, and so Wanda is pretty pissed now, and she's shooketh now that she realizes that Jerry lied to her, and not only her, but she's about to lie to the whole public because she's trying to not only create this story about a monster, but she's also trying to debunk the very story that she is creating.
Oh, yeah.
All just to boost her ratings and have this great story to broadcast on In Your Face, where she's obviously going to reveal the whole conspiracy herself and blame it on someone now.
Yeah.
Yes, you looked like you were going to say something there.
You were just like, what you said. What was your exact line that you said of like, she's realizing that...
she didn't just lie to Wanda, but she's going to lie to the whole
she's going to lie to everybody about what happened to this fourth grader, unless Wanda has something to do with it, of like, Jerry's going to kill Wanda down there and like lie that the monster killed her.
She's the only witness.
Exactly.
She's the only witness, so she's got to go.
Jerry's going to become a hero that, like, she found the body of this child that the monster killed. And, and that's why Wanda's like, she's about to tell a lie to the whole fucking world about me.
No. There's only one dead person leaving this. It ain't gonna be Wanda Lee.
Yeah. She's blowing off Jerry or Nessie and Bessie.
Bessie and Nessie. Yeah.
Cracking those knuckles.
Let's go. Yeah. Actually, and that's, I mean, very good, kind of like, you just called Jerry out there, because as like all of this stuff is happening, we see Jerry consistently like pivoting on how like the angle that her story is going to take. She's like, okay, I was going to do this, but now that you've discovered it, I'm going to actually say that you planted the monster down here and that I am calling you guys out like as little childhood pranksters.
Oh my God.
So you're right. She probably, I mean, I'm sure that came across her mind at one point. Like, well, I could just kill her and then say that the monster did it. And then I'll be a hero for saving her and finding the monster. Yeah. Kind of crazy.
Holy shit. Okay.
Good old broadcast journalism, you know? And so, this is Wanda's vigilante origin story, I believe, this episode. Because
Friz is watching actually from above, like, perfect. I've radicalized her.
She's got like the not a like periscope. Maybe it is a periscope. Yeah. She's like looking from the sub. You just like see it scoping and she sees them. The other students are freaking out, like, we have to find Wanda. She might have died. And the Friz is like, yeah. Think about a way to find her. And she's actually watching like, good, Wanda. Very
She's like,
good.
Wanda's not ready yet. Hold on. I need to cross over and then we'll save her.
And yes, I say that this is her vigilante origin story because Wanda now realizes that she can no longer trust the news. She can no longer trust these journalists who are just saying whatever they want to say on TV. And she can no longer trust any old picture that is put up on television. So she decides at this very moment that she will not let Jerry Paveri get away with this. And she swims out of there while Jerry Paveri just kind of hangs back in her submarine. Like, really gonna believe you, a little fourth grader, or me, like an esteemed award-winning investigative journalist. Come on.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the submarine who also owns a helicopter. Yeah, like, please. She's reputable. So she thinks. So, like I said, Jerry brushes off those threats and just kind of gets back to her whole, like, staging her monster and everything to get it ready for the big reveal.
Okay.
Wanda does make her way back to the bus marine, and all the students are excited to see her. And she is super ready to debrief the students on everything that she found. But the Friz, before Wanda can start talking, and I love that it ties into what you just said about her, like, watching, like saying, wait, we don't need to save Wanda yet, because literally all that the Friz says when Wanda gets back up into the ship, it's not, are you okay? We saw you fighting for your life. It's like, do you need help with anything? Here, let me help you get your mask off or anything like that. No. She just, in her very, very calming, soothing, sing-songy voice says, did you find the evidence you were looking for, Wanda?
She fucking knew.
Like, this bitch knew the whole time.
She was like, did you find Jerry down there, perhaps?
Did you see?
See what I needed you to see? Have you seen? Wanda, have you seen? Damn, Friz. She fucking knew.
You just made me spit some of my coffee. Have you seen? Did you see it?
Did you see what I see?
What I saw? Which
she's ready.
Yeah. When she asked that in that way, that very calm voice, and you like see it in her eyes too. She's looking at her like, did you? I was like, the Friz was absolutely doing recon. Like, that is what she was doing before in her scuba suit. That's the moment that I realized, like, oh, this whole thing was planned. Like, none of this is accidental.
Yep. Amazing. Yes.
So, yes. And like you added in too, like, her and Jerry, they go back. This isn't some random hit job. The Friz knows who she's targeting here. So yes, Wanda obviously tells the students that the monster is fake and that Jerry Paveri made the entire thing up as a bit of creative journalism, and tells the students that they have to stop her from lying to the unsuspecting public just so that she can boost her ratings.
Hell yeah, Wanda.
Hell yeah, Wanda. So the students begin to pump air into the pontoons on the bus marine, which allows water to come out of the pontoons and makes the bus marine lighter, causing it to slowly start to float back up to the surface of the lake, which, as they say later in the episode, is apparently how submarines work. I've always kind of wondered how they work, but I didn't want to think too hard about it because I don't want to think about being that deep underwater. So I was like,
right,
I don't know,
all
not my bag. Let someone else figure it out. Don't care. But it is interesting to know. Yep, that they just like either take on water in certain like tanks on the hull, or they release air so that water can be pushed out. And then, or they put in air so that water can be pushed out, and then that allows them to float back up. Interesting stuff. Don't care though. Never gonna ride one.
Next.
Yeah, never gonna ride one. Like, well, no. But anyways, of course, Paveri intervenes with her high-tech submarine, and she like pulls some of the plugs out of the pontoons on the bus marine, and she's like chasing after them so that they don't float back up to the top. And it causes the students and the bus to again sink down to the bottom of the lake due to the water flowing back into the pontoons and weighing them down.
Damn. Okay.
So as a last-ditch effort to rise back up to the surface before Jerry begins her live broadcast on these clear waters of Walker Lake, the students decide that they have to uncrumple themselves now to make the bus bigger, like Phoebe's piece of bread. The one that didn't sink down was bigger than the one that did. So they push even more water out of the way, or so that they can push water out of the way to float back up to the surface. So the students manually pull apart the bus to uncrumple it, and they quickly do begin to float their way back up to the top. But Wanda's like, no, wait a minute, before you guys get back up there, Tim, come with me. We're going to go down there and do one last little thing before we get back up to the top of the lake. Get your camera, Tim. Let's go.
This is also like, sorry, as a side note, like an actual high stakes episode of like, are they going to get there before the broadcast airs or not? Like usually it's like Frizz can always just be like, I'll get you out of this flood that I caused. No big deal.
Exactly.
But this has like an actual villain in this episode, and I know they're gonna make it, but like, are they gonna make it? Kind of thing.
Right.
Like,
are they gonna beat her? It's like an actual race.
Yeah.
Like you said, high stakes.
It's just like, this is an actual high stakes situation from preventing this perpetuating of a lie.
Right. And I think it's because this might be, I guess, other than the Michael York episode, this is like the first time that they have like an adversary, like a clear adversary.
Right, but even with Michael York, they thought he was an adversary, and he was just like,
and he wasn't.
It was just a misunderstanding kind of thing.
Yeah, but in this case, like,
as far as I know,
she's a villain.
She sucks. Yeah.
This lady is a villain. So yes, very good point. Good point. Like, and it does, like, you can like feel the stress in it all. Like, you want the kids like, hurry up, do something. Do something, please. So, yes, they, Wanda and Tim leave. They dive back down with Tim's camera while the rest of the students in the bus floats right on back up to the top of the lake. And when they get there, they also see at the top of the lake, Jerry standing on like the rail of her helicopter, which is like sitting on the water. Which is like, not gonna lie, super badass. And
I know,
like,
so that's pretty cool. Actually.
She must know a thing or two about helicopters. Like, she's got great core strength too to like balance herself. I don't think she has on a life vest or anything. She's not attached to that thing.
That's pretty
She has a camera sitting like in the helicopter, and she's on her mic standing on the railing, like filming and recording herself. So like, I mean, I got to give it to her. She's doing a good job, but that's what makes it even more dangerous, that she can, that she has so like these skills, and she's so good at what she's doing, and she's just lying. Yeah,
damn.
So she's delivering this intense live broadcast about the dangers of this lake monster and all of that. But the broadcast, it's interrupted when Wanda and Tim, they've swum back down to the bottom of the lake. They found that giant inflatable lake monster that Wanda saw down there. They notice that it's weighted down and everything so that it won't, float up to the surface. Apparently, Jerry has some contraption where she was going to like press a button that released the weights and then like sent it up right as she was doing her broadcast. Yeah, and then she could say like, see, it's fake or whatever. But the kids, Wanda and Tim, they get in the way of this. They release the weights themselves. And this monster, it pops out of the water right under Paveri, knocking over her helicopter and throwing her into the lake. Which, like, whoa, okay, hold on, too much.
Frizz is like, I knew Wanda was ready.
The Frizz is just sitting on the bus, like, looking from a window, like...
I picked the right one.
Black Hawk down. Like, it's actually like in a real scenario, that would be very bad if you saw like a helicopter like flip over
Out
in the
of
water
control.
with someone standing
right
on it.
there and
Yeah,
like thrown into
like,
the water as the helicopter's flipped into the water. Yeah, that person be dead for sure.
reverse. Go back. Too much, kids, too much. But Wanda and Tim, they're swimming right up after it. Tim's getting this whole thing on camera too, getting great shots, excellent shots. And the bus marine at this exact moment also appears on the surface just after this inflatable monster, and Wanda and Tim also appear. And Wanda tells Tim to focus the camera, like, focus, all right, get this shot right here, get this. Here. And she unplugs the monster even more, and we watch all of the air deflate, and this inflatable just flies out of the water, soaring through an air like a balloon that's just had the been untied or whatever and released. So Paveri is like waiting in the water by her overturned helicopter, devastated that her camera, her helicopter, and her story are all ruined. And the next clip we see, which also the kids are like laughing at her too, like, ha ha, we got you.
Sucks to suck.
Try to get a new helicopter now.
I imagine Keisha is just standing on the dock, like picking up her own mic and swinging it because she's about to take that Saturday morning slot.
Yes,
just like
she's like,
it's mine now,
my
bitch.
show now. I'm glad you said that because they basically do. The next thing that we see is next weekend's edition of In Your Face.
Yes,
where Jerry Paveri is interviewing none other than Wanda, Tim, and the Frizz and the rest of the class. Right, like Wanda and Tim are sitting in the chairs right by Jerry Paveri and the rest of the class and the Frizz are standing all behind them. And she's asking Wanda and Tim to recount the work that they did to capture Paveri's defeat on camera. And she's like congratulating Tim on his great camera skills and like, you got really good shots there, Tim. I gotta admit, she legit is. She's like trying to, she's like spinning it and also, kids. Right. Well, she's an opportunist. Let's put it this way. She will find a way to make any story work for her because not only are the kids there explaining how they exposed her, but basically they're publicly shaming her as well. Like they're making fun of her on live TV, on her own show in her own studio, which is a flex and a half.
Damn. Yeah.
And they're calling her out for trying to lie to the public. And Wanda reminds her, like, you need to apologize, by the way. And like, it sounds like Jerry wasn't originally going to apologize because she's like, oh yeah, you're right. Yes.
Right. Because she's live on air. She can't say no to a child.
Exactly. But also she like takes this opportunity to be like, you're right. I, Jerry Paveri, am so sorry to these kids and the public for lying. Anyway, next question. She gets right back. It's like the perfect, just like she totally phoned it in, was probably reading it from a prompter, no remorse, no reflection, no sense of actual, like I did something wrong.
Scam.
Exactly. Right, basically. And she knows, like, people love a good apology. Like, people will hate you if you mess something up, but they'll forgive you if you apologize. It's just don't act like you're never wrong. Just say, you know what, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be better. So she's like, this is my chance to rebrand myself. Distinguished journalist. I'm so sorry. So anyway, how did you guys get that shot? Tell me more about it. Yeah,
Let's continue with the story.
She is also a bit thankful for the kids, and she acknowledges that not only did the camera work and their bravery expose her and all of that, and it actually did a good job of breaking a story, but it also captured footage that Jerry was able to use to get a new job as the host of a new underwater action adventure series. Which honestly, though, annoying that she's using all of this to like, further get richer, career. Basically, further her career. But I'm glad that she's leaving broadcast journalism and doing something that's like clearly just like a reality show or, something like that. Like, yes, go do like a Shark Week program.
And you know what? We did see her do some badass moves. So like, maybe she is more fitting for that.
Something tells me that maybe she used to like do war coverage or something. And like she came back to Walkerville and was bored.
Yeah. She like got so like
I'll make up
traumatized. She's back in the adrenaline rush, put me back in. Right. Fine. I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and of all the things she lied about, at least it was something harmless and not like a real world news event that's like actually hurting people
Impacting
and doing
lives.
damage to society. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm like, all right, Jerry, I still dislike you greatly, but like, exactly. So Jerry, like I said, she tells the kids that they were brave. She congratulates Tim on his camera work. She apologizes. And in the end, she tells Miss Frizzle that she must be very proud of her class. And the Frizz replies, well, Jerry, as you yourself once said, the truth always floats to the surface. And that's the end of the main part of the episode.
Wow. The Frizz wins again, Jerry.
Oh, the Frizz never loses, which is why Jerry's like, damn it, you know what?
I'm leaving.
I'm out. I'm out. You know what? I'm going to tell her right now where I'm going so that she doesn't need to scare me when she finds me. Yeah. She knows where I am. I won't be surprised. And I'm doing wholesome reality television work now. Exactly. I'm not lying on the mainstream news anymore.
I'm not
or
lying
like on
in a place where I'm not supposed to lie.
Exactly. It's okay to lie on reality TV.
Thrives in lies.
Exactly.
Wow.
So yes, in the Ask the Producer segment, we actually don't have the producer in this episode, which I think is the first episode where the producer has not appeared, which is interesting. And kind of sad because it's our last episode. So last week's was the last, Ask the legit producer. Yeah. Instead, we just have Jerry Paveri and Liz in Jerry's dressing room, which I love the meta-ness of it all, which happened in my episode with Jessica Walter, where she was still in character afterwards. Yeah, popped in to speak with the producer. In this case, Jerry's in her dressing room, and I guess she's she's on the set and people are calling her still thinking that they have the producer's line, but it's her line.
Oh, funny.
And she keeps answering the phone because she thinks it's like her agent calling or something. She's like, I shouldn't get that. Well, it's probably my agent, so I should. And she's like, hello. But it's actually just a bunch of, kids telling her all of these facts about submarines. Exactly. And saying don't dive into water without a lifeguard nearby, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And that's the end of the episode.
Wow.
And the end of our Magic School Bus arc.
I know the arc. I loved this arc so much. That was really fun. I really like that there was an actual nemesis, villain in it that caused a little bit more tension.
The stakes were up.
Really.
The kids were actually in danger. Because, usually I think that's another aspect of it, too. Yes, they thought Michael York was a villain, but he wasn't. And we know that the Frizz probably knew who he actually was, or Henry, whatever.
Liz to him.
Right. But in this case, it's no, there's actually someone else who's trying to get rid of you kids. It's not just you guys running into a natural occurring event that the Frizz can protect you from. There's another full-grown adult here who also does not like the Frizz, who's trying to... Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah. You don't only have the water to fear and the monster to fear, you have the worst monster of all, a human. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Good luck,
I liked that
Good
as
luck.
Our last, the most intense one for last, it feels like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And the best lesson maybe that the kids have learned, not just about floating and sinking and media literacy, but that sometimes the scariest of them all is your own. It's
yes, exactly. Damn, we learned a lot
greatest lesson.
This fucking show.
We did. I feel a lot smarter. I do. And I got that nostalgic curiosity to me now. Oh, how do things work? Or
except for
whatever. Explain it to me like I'm 10,
Yeah, always.
Yes.
Wow, great job. That was very fun.
That's it. Thank you. But that is for now the end of our Magic School Bus arc. It's been awesome. It's been so much fun. So much fun reliving this whole show and all the great stuff that PBS did. Yeah.
I say don't forget to support PBS.
Yes, especially now
more than ever.
Yeah,
which was kind of impetus for us doing some PBS shows. So don't forget to support them.
Yeah. And I guess to that extent, now we're dusting off the Halloween decorations. Ooh, and we're gonna get spooky because it's now spooky. October technically-ish. I know we're a week early, but we're ready to celebrate Halloween. Yes. And so next week, Grace is going to tell us a wonderful spooky tale to get us all ready for the Halloween season. And until then, when I cannot wait to get started on our holiday arc, I can't believe it's already the end of the year, but until then, Grace, who should they tell about this podcast?
Okay, so this is a little broad, but
okay.
If you have a Facebook, I think you should tell your Facebook friends about this because, just post on Facebook because, we talked about fake news in this episode and what's more full of fake news than Facebook. So break up that fake news by posting this episode to Facebook and break up that algorithm, that algo for people. With this episode and our show. Who else should our listeners and viewers tell?
After that, you should tell someone in the Navy who either has been on a submarine or who works with submarines or works with people who are on the submarine.
Yeah, tell them to tell us how it works.
Or not, just someone in the Navy or Coast Guard who works on the water and have they seen a water monster of any sort? Yeah.
Very importantly. Wow.
Yeah, most importantly.
Good one.
Yeah. Cool. So until then, though.
All right. See you next week.
Bye. Next week. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.